Hello, everybody. Hello, Thane. How are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So, guys, a quick story. I was scrolling through my feed, and somebody in my network, I don't even remember who, liked a post that you posted.
Okay.
I listened to the post, I read it, I looked at the video, and I was thoroughly impressed, and even more so, I was motivated. And as someone that wants to motivate other people, when I find somebody that motivates me, that's exciting. So I reached out to you. We had a couple of small talks, and I've asked you to come on this video and share your vision of what people should be doing now, how people should be taking this, pandemic, call it whatever you want, and what we should be doing now. So, Thane, can you share a couple of words about yourself, and then let's just dive into it.
Great. Well, I really appreciate this, Zeev. I mean, you've been very generous to me and you've done nothing but support me. And I really appreciate that. Being on this interview is really an honor for me. And right now, I just want people first to understand I work on myself every day. Okay. So I send these messages out, but I'm also learning the same things I'm teaching. One of my biggest beliefs is the teacher teaches what they're trying to teach till the teacher learns the lesson. And I have still not learned my lessons in life. So that is what I'm trying to do. I don't want anyone to ever think that I put myself on a pedestal because I need more help than anyone. Okay. And we're always the hardest person we'll ever lead, always. So, but my belief right now is what we have to be doing right now is completely making sure that our mind is open to change, that our mind is open to adaptation. We get so set on what's going to happen tomorrow and so frustrated when it doesn't. And now more than ever in our lives, things change. Maybe not even overnight, maybe from this morning to this afternoon due to this pandemic. I just ask everyone to try to keep their mind straight. Let me give you a little bit. I did a post on this the other day, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but during this pandemic, and this thing, you may go a little bit further than that, but 4 months, 3 months,
Mhm.
during this pandemic, this is what we have been dealing with here. And I just had them come fix my washing machine and dishwasher today. Haven't been able to get fixed. My oven broke, my dishwasher broke, my washing machine, none of them more than 3 years old. My chainsaw broke. I had a crown break in my teeth. Can't get it. It's not hurting, so it's not a big deal. Okay. And like I was talking, a person I'm very closely connected with is Monty Clark, and he coaches me some. And, I was telling him today that I haven't screamed. I haven't yelled. I haven't wanted to shoot anybody. I haven't wanted to do any of that stuff. And I just believe that I'm being tested. I always preach mindset. And if I can't keep my mindset straight during all this and keep a smile on my face, keep love in my heart, then I probably shouldn't be coaching this mindset stuff. So my thing is whatever you're going through, it's okay. It is a cliche, but whatever does not kill us makes us stronger. And this has all made me stronger. And my wife and I have been through so much in our lives. I keep reminding her, is this as bad as the fire we had where we lost everything in our house? Is this as bad as when your father passed and my father passed unexpectedly? There's so many things we've dealt with. So we just have to take this as one of those things that is building our character. And if we look at it that way and we don't get focused on what's happening to us, but what we can do about what's happening to us, we're going to be so much better off. And I am very fortunate, Zeev. I get to walk out my door and I'm in the Green Mountain Forest. I mean, the minute I walk out, my house is in the middle of it. So I'm surrounded by nature. And there's
See
nothing.
your videos, they are beautiful.
Well, thank you. And you're welcome to come visit. I'm sure while you're out there is in DC, they have some beautiful stuff too. But we, we made a huge decision years ago to give up the city life, to give our children a different kind of life. It was a harder life. It was an inconvenient life. Nearest stores 30 minutes away. First red light you're going to get to is 30 miles from here. So, we made some decisions, but it's all been worth it. But again, it's one of those things. It was hard, but it's made us better people because of it. We've been through a lot. When you have a winter in Vermont, it's a lot different than a winter in Memphis, Tennessee. If I don't have firewood set up for Memphis, Tennessee, I'm okay. If I don't have firewood here, we lost our power in the middle of February one time, didn't have it for 9 days. If I didn't have firewood, frozen pipes, paying for a hotel, so you really got to be prepared. So I'm about challenges. I'm about stepping up to things, but I'm about taking it all with happiness. happiness and joy and being grateful for what it is to teach me. And don't get me wrong, I fall back sometimes. I fall back sometimes. And the one thing I keep in mind is I don't beat myself up when I beat myself up. I let it go.
You're human, Thane. We've realized that. We all have ups and downs.
Yes.
I want to share with you something about me during this quarantine. You and I met through LinkedIn, and I'm sure we're going to become great friends. But if you knew me, you knew that I'm all about people.
Right.
People are the most important things in my life. I get my energy from people. I get my satisfaction and purpose through teaching people and helping people. And I'm very physical too. I love to hug my friends. And this quarantine has been very difficult to an extrovert such as myself. Now, in the beginning, I was involved in a few things, and I was actually trying to help the government get some COVID testing, and I was involved in the news, and the news was on every day, and I was not doing well. I was not doing well mentally. I was looking for opportunities, and business-wise, I was doing well, but the minute I shut off all the outside noise, the minute I stopped looking at the numbers of people that are dying, the moment I stopped, the end of the world news, suddenly I was able to really focus in on what I needed to. And everybody wants to know what's going on, but we are in such a negative atmosphere right now in the news, in the papers, in social media, and we need to not listen to that, because really it is not affecting our lives as much. I became a much happier person during this quarantine, not listening to the news.
Agree 100%. I've probably watched 2 hours of news in the past 3 months. I'm not a big news follower, not a big news reader. I'll glance at a couple of things here and there, but I'm with you on that. But I will tell you this, very, very good friend of mine, that his daughter is here with us now from Massachusetts. I went and picked up the other day. I got to do my first bro hug in 3 months yesterday with Anthony Shinna. So that was wonderful, because we were like, forget the quarantine. I just grabbed him in, because I'm a kinetic person, and I can feel from other people. And when I give you a hug, and whatever kind of hug it is, I'm not shy. I'll give you a big bear hug, or I'll give you a bro hug, whatever it is. But to me, that's just that bonding. That's that we know we're connected, and we know we're okay with each other. And it made me feel so good to be able to do that, because I have friends I see, before that, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll stay back. But that felt really good. I'm glad we're on the same page on that, because people are the most important thing. And when I work with some of my clients, one of the things I try to teach them is the wheel of the business is built around people. I've seen so many people say the wheel of the business starts with sales. And it's like, that's great, but who's doing the selling?
People.
Who are you selling to? A person. So, my axle that everything revolves around is the people. And then I also believe in the wheel of business, that there is no department that is more important. It's symbiotic, because if production isn't producing, sales isn't going to sell. If marketing isn't marketing, then sales isn't going to sell. Sales is over-promising, then production. To me, it's all tied together after that. There's not one that's more important than the other, because they are all congruent with each other. There's not a piece of the machine that works well when one of the other pieces isn't working well.
The holistic system.
Yeah. So that's what I try to teach people as well, is how do we combine all these things and work together. And one of the processes I work through is, you see my wisdom from the woods. I'm a big believer in nature. One of the systems I work through is teaching people, when I'm working with clients, the symbolism of growing plants, nurturing plants, giving them the right environment, is exactly the same you need to do for your team. If you don't start them out right, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you don't have them in the right environment, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you give them too much food, they're not going to be able to digest it, and it can burn them out and kill them. If you give them not enough water, they're going to dehydrate, and the roots are going to shrivel up, and they're going to die. It's the same with your team. If you start someone out by not giving the right information they need, not giving the right tools they need, not even sharing the business vision with them on the day one, you're starting out wrong. And when that plant starts out wrong, it's hard to course correct. You got to do a lot of work. So this is some of the things I use to teach in my business when I'm working with people. And what I found is, when we can get people to actually invest in as a team growing a garden together at work. People come into work earlier. People want to give more of themselves, and they start wanting to work for each other. Because give you an example, when Juan Ortiz in Memphis walked in with a whole bunch of vegetables to give to the ladies in the office that they had grown in the yard outside, you should have seen their faces. It's like these guys would be in at 5 in the morning working on the garden when they're not supposed to be until 6. And they would be so much happier and more the engagement level. So by teaching people these things of how you nurture the plants, how you nurture the people, how you take care of them is one of the key ways that I help teach and build cultures.
That is amazing. And I could not agree more. In my business, culture is so much more important than anything else. You can teach people marketing, you can teach people tactics, but you cannot teach them attitude, and you cannot teach them to love you.
Right.
So I am so much in agreement with you. Now, we're going through a tough time, right, Thane?
Right.
You and I have spoke between us, and we spoke a little bit about The Last Dance. I know you haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Right.
But the one thing I took out of that show is Michael Jordan was describing all the hardships that he went through in his career. And he described them that every challenge he used for oil for his fire. Okay? And that's what I really want to share with people. And that's what I want to ask you of, how do you recommend for people to do this? How can we use COVID, quarantine, economy collapsing? How can we use all of this as oil to our fire? How can we use this to make us better, more motivated? How do we use it to pivot the right way?
You know, it's a tough one for me because I don't think of things that way. I have been in that situation. I'll share a story with you. When I was 11 or 12, I played football on a league team. I got the flu, and my mom didn't want me to play. And I went anyway, dressed out full. She came to the game late, and she was there, and she kept trying to get me to come home. I played the best game of my life because I wasn't going to let her embarrass me in front of all those other guys. I had 3 quarterback sacks. I recovered 1 fumble. My coach said that I don't know what got into that boy, but that was the best game he ever played, ever. If he played like that, we would have never lost a game. And it was because that oil of my fire was my mom embarrassing me. So I have lived it, but since then, I that's not something that has ever driven me. What drives me is me. What drives me is that I have to be better today than I was yesterday, and I have to be better tomorrow than I'm today. And don't get me wrong, I fall back all the time, and I have to pick myself up and go, man, you fell back really far. I mean, we've all had failures, and we've all looked at ourselves and gone, how did I do this again? But what I use is that what I look at it as is I put it as, if somebody else can do this, I can. If somebody else can get there, I can. When it gets bad is when I start asking myself, why can't I? It's instead I need to be asking myself, how can I? You know, why can't I? Why am I not as good as them? No, how can I get better than I already am? And I try not to compare myself to others, even though I like, if they can do it, I should be able to do it. But I never want to be that person. I know that I have to do what they're trying to do my own way. And so I can't compare myself to others. Desiderata is one of my favorite poems. And, you know, you should never compare yourself to others. It does 2 things to you. And this was a poem that was on my wall from the time I was 14 or 15. And I loved it. And it's that if you compare yourself to others, you'll become vain and bitter. There are greater and lessers than yourself. The only thing you can ever focus on and make better is yourself. I can try all day to make my wife a better cook. The only person who's going to make her a better cook is her. She's an awesome cook. But
I'm sure you don't look like you're suffering.
I'm not suffering. So, you know, to me, those are the things that drive me. I wish I could answer that question better, but I got over that a long time ago because and I understand where he's coming from and with all the stuff he's been through, because he did have some naysayers. He had a lot of people against him, and that does fuel some people's fire. But, you know, for me, it was more about that this is what I need to set out to do. This is what I got to do. So, again, that's just where my mind is.
Let me share with you one of my favorite quotes. Are you familiar with Dr. Wayne Dyer, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer?
Changed my life. He's the only reason I'm sitting here in front of you right now.
I love the man. Met him once.
Oh,
All my
really?
life, I thought that I would actually do something with him. It was something that I believed to be true. You know, one of those
Right.
things.
Yes.
And he passed away.
Yeah.
I did have a brief moment that we shared a stage together. He, of course, was the main speaker. But amazing guy. What
Yes.
he, what's something that he has taught me and is stuck with me every moment of my life is change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying about the comment about Michael Jordan. Where I was wanting to take it, or where my vision went, is people are seeing this as an obstacle, and
Oh,
where a change in their mind can make it an opportunity. Okay.
oh,
So that was more not using bad things as fuel, but
right.
more of changing. If right now you're seeing this as a deficit, just change the way you look at it and you will see it as a plus. For instance, you and I are talking right now, probably just because of COVID.
Yes.
Um, I have had more time on LinkedIn because I'm sitting at home. I have created incredible, beautiful relationships with people that I want to be more like, as yourself. So this to me was a great silver lining. I have had conversation with some of the most interesting people that I would really work hard on making my friends because I want to be more like them.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely go into that, and I might go further than you want me to. But obviously, yes, the relationship we built here. I was actually in transition of my business when this all hit. I had already taken 2 months off, which was poor timing for me. Then I'd already been like, all right, I got it. Oh, now this is happening, and the work I had lined up fell. But it was okay because I've been rebranding myself and trying to transition myself, come up with a stronger message. Been getting actually, I haven't had a coach before. I'm actually using a coach to help me a little bit, and so I'm doing that. But I've been able to actually spend more time with my daughter, son, and wife in this past 5 months than I have in the past 5 years. Okay, that alone is a bonus. Um, but the other things that have come from this are that that it's not a bad thing. My son, who is a snowboard rider, a filmer of snowboard teams, and a freestyle scooter rider, has been stuck in the house for 3 months. Has not been able to do any of that. He was just finishing up the female snowboard flow team, filming them up in Minnesota and Canada, and they had one more trip to go on to Canada. And when they showed up, that was the day they closed the border. So he's been home since. But he didn't take this time to squander and cry. He is in this time started designing, formulating, and working with people in Asia to start his own scooter line of scooter parts. He has been producing his T-shirts. He drops about 50 or 60 at a time that he makes. They sell out in about 3 or 4 hours at about $25 a pop. And he's 22 years old. And so these are his own business things. He has been working on design stuff as well. So he's not taking any of this as downtime. He's taking every bit of this as, yeah, I can't do what I want to do, but I'm going to do what I can do. So when this is over, I can do what I want to do.
I'm going to ask everybody that's watching us right now to take a look at your profile. I found you through your wonderful videos. Watch a few of them. You have a great YouTube channel. Subscribe to your YouTube channel. We're going to put everything in the post so everybody can find a really easy way to connect with you. Guys, Thane is a wonderful motivator, and even more than that, a smart and kind man. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Zeev. It's been an honor, my friend.
The honor's all here, my friend. See you.